if you're working with the body, obviously the first thing to understand, right, is you're dealing with the open price and the closing price. So we're dealing with two prices, right? So that's what you're comparing here, are two prices there. So whenever you're comparing, two prices together, well, that's a job for the comparison solver here, right? Um, so here, let's work on the logic board here. So let's grab a new comparison solver, connect that in like so. And so the two inputs here is, let's compare the open to the close price. So for input A, we're going to set this to price, and we want the open price. So let's select the open price like so. And then input B, that'll be the closing price of the bar. So let's select price there, and there's the closing price. And now in the middle, you'll notice that there's a difference, right? So if we wanted to find, candles with at least a 10 tick body, like so, we can do it this way. And so, there's kind of lots of ways to look at this. And so in this particular case, you can see that on all these down bars, so now, the bar we have arrowed, the bar that has arrows on it, right? It's a down bar, but we're getting a long signal here, right? And this up bar is giving us a short signal. So, you kind of need to know, you know, first thing you need to know is, what signal direction are you looking for, right? And what's going to be the direction of your candle. So with the outputs, the default settings here for the outputs, right? We're going to get signals in the opposite direction of the bar direction, right? The signal directions are opposite the bar direction. And so if we wanted to reverse this, then we could just reverse the outputs, right? Like so. There, I just reversed the outputs here, right? And so now the signal direction matches the body direction or the bar direction, right? And typically the length of a body is usually a non-directional condition, right? It's usually a non-directional condition. Usually it's something else within your system rules that's defining the direction of the trade, right? So, yeah, so typically when you want to measure the length of a body, you will usually want it to be, or I should say, you'll usually want the output of your solver here to be in both directions, right? So if we look now, each of these candles here with a 10 tick body are now giving us a long and a short together, right? So the length of a body is usually a non-directional condition. It's just a condition, like a prerequisite, for your system rules here. So again, the way I generated an output in both directions is I'm using A, let me slide that over, there we go. I'm using A greater than B and A less than B for my outputs here, right? For long and for short. I'm using, right, my long output and my short output all have the same settings turned on, right? And so with this, now, simple enough, you just, put in the number of ticks for the minimum body length that you're looking for there, right? And if you're looking for the opposite, let's say you're looking for small candlestick bodies, right? So this is identifying, you know, candlesticks, of 10 ticks or more. So if you want the opposite condition, now um, this only works because we're generating a long and a short together, right? So we can get the opposite. We can find bodies that are shorter than 10 ticks by simply using the invert. So if we invert this, right, the invert, again, just want to make very clear to everybody, the invert works because this solver is generating a long and a short together, right? Um, let's turn that invert off. And again, let's change this a little bit, right? So I put this back to shrink this up. There we go. Now we can see both at the same time, right? So I put the signals, back so that an up bar, right, generates a long, and a down bar generates a short. Now, if I invert this, if I turn the invert on, right, it's not working. Right, we're getting right. So this long up bar is generating a short signal. So that's not necessarily working as expected there. Right, but the invert though, what we can see, the invert is generating a long and a short together. Right, so we can see that inverting isn't quite giving us, it's probably not giving you what you want if you're using a directional output, right? So the output is in one direction only here. So this invert, again, is really only going to work when this solver is giving us a non-directional output, right? So long and short together is non-directional. So, and then we can invert that, right? So there you go. It's pretty simple. You can just take a comparison solver and plug in your open, plug in your close, and of course you can reverse this. You could put the closing price up top here. So I could reverse that, put the open down here like so. And if I go back to a directional thing, right, I simply just inverted the prices or reversed the prices for input A and input B. And so depending on, which price is input A versus which price is input B, determines which output you would use. And so again, kind of back to, an up bar is generating a long signal, a down bar is generating a short signal. And if I want non-directional signals again, I can just turn on those other outputs. And there we go. Right. And then it's just a matter now of just a matter now of putting in the body length that you're looking for, whether it's points, ticks, or ATRs, right? So there we go. All right, so that's for finding certain body lengths.